shadow, I assemble. I take form, consumer of worlds. If light cannot escape me, what hope have you?
All right, guys, welcome back. We're about to get underway with Game 2 of Rattlesnake versus First Departure. This one, a best of 3, our opening set for the International 3 Eastern Qualifiers, which, oh, by the way, if you haven't already heard, Merlini, over $2 million and rising. I think it might have just peaked over 2.1 million. Haven't got a chance to check, but the prize pool keeps on growing, which means even more at stake. Ultimately, it's about the pride, the prestige, but hey, a little extra dough for whoever goes to Seattle. Nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, thanks to the fantastic community for supporting us, for supporting Dota 2, and everything that they've done to contribute to this massive prize pool. So it looks like Rattlesnake has taken down First Departure 1-0 in the first game of this best of 3, and I really think they need to be less predictable. We knew what they were going to do, and I mean, I assume that Rattlesnake has done their homework on First Departure too, and they just did safe lane carry with a pretty good split pusher and played a little bit too greedy and, you know, just fell apart at all stages of the game. And I really think they need to throw a wrench into Rattlesnake's plan and just try and, throw them.
Yeah, do something different. Let's see an aggressive tri-lane from First Departure. Let's see them go for a carry that can get involved in the fights early. Something like an anti-mage, or not an anti-mage, although he can, but maybe something like a gyrocopter. It's something Miracle's played in the past. I'd like to see even a lifestealer if it gets through. I don't think it will, but this hero's always banned, and especially when you're up against a team like First Departure, force them to play heroes that they're not necessarily able to take fights with. So First Departure needs something different. I think something like a gyrocopter might be a good starting point, even say a juggernaut, and I'd like to see them mix up their lanes. It's just too predictable. I see this team, and I expect defensive tri-lane and 2 solos, or even a ban in the off lane. Against Rattlesnake, they'll get greedy. They'll pick 4 heroes that can benefit. But with that being said, Game 1's in the books. Rattlesnake leading 1-0. Game 2 now underway. Let's hop inside the game. And as the draft begins, let's see what these two teams are going to look to ban on the side of First Departure. Well, I mean, Merlini, I mentioned the gyrocopter. What do you think we're going to see as a potentially... What other options do you have if you want to be more aggressive carry?
I think they could have done Phantom Lancer because she can really abuse that farm and split push. They didn't really have too much AoE. Juggernaut is not very good at clearing illusions at all. They had Skywrath Mage, single target hero, also doesn't fare well versus illusions. Clockwork, almost all single target. Queen of Pain is really the only hero that can deal with it. Darkseer is okay, but again, Purge kind of owns his Surge, and he won't really be able to make his own PL illusion with only one wall of replica. So I actually think PL would have done really, really well with the amount of farm and space that was created for him, because he was pretty much the only hero that was doing really well. Furion went to the offlane, started off with offlane items, but was forced to the jungle, had a relatively weak start compared to his opposing counterpart, who was Darkseer. Mid got first blooded, who was pucked by the Juggernaut, and bottom lane, it was only really the Naga Siren that was doing well. And she had good farm, but the supports weren't getting levels, so it was really all their eggs in one basket. And if you do that, you really want a very strong carry like PL or anti-mage.
Yeah, let's see what they go for as far as that carry goes. Of course, Dota 2 not cooperating with me, so I'm going to have to rejoin the game, guys, because I don't have my mouse for some reason. So I'll rejoin the game real quick. In the meantime, we can take a look at the casters and see how things are going. So Merlini, get ready to look pretty on camera. I'm going to restart Dota 2 real quickly, guys, but don't worry. We'll be right back, so don't panic. Although for some reason I can't seem to close it. Not sure why the mouse disappeared, but Mouse bugs do happen.
So looking at the bans, first departure has already banned out Clockwork as well as Lifestealer. Lifestealer we haven't seen any of yet in the TI3 Eastern qualifiers, and we saw Kabu play a pretty monstrous Clockwork in the first game, so no surprise there. They don't want to give them easy time in the offlane. Again, they really need to concentrate on winning at least one of the 3 lanes, and again, Clockwork not dying and still getting XP, I would consider that a loss in terms of first departure. So you really want to win 2 of the 3 lanes, and if you ban Clockwork and give them a slightly weaker offlane hero, I think they'll lend way to a much better early game. Looks like
we're not headed in the right direction. I hope they're not leading on account of me, but everybody's disconnecting from the game. Hang on as far as leaving goes. I'm looking at gods in the back lines, trying to get a cue as far as whether or not we're remaking.
I think, I don't know, Rattlesnake says we first BP. Bam,
Oh
bam.
man, these lobby hosts.
We first battle points.
Gods, I am disappointed. We'll have a quick remake, guys. We're going to come right back with game 2. Do apologize for the delays, but in the meantime, Merlini, how you feeling, buddy?
Pretty good. I mean, excited to see some Eastern Dota. Just definitely a change of pace from TI3 Western qualifiers, which most of the Dota world was watching last weekend. Again, if you haven't been watching too much of Eastern Dota, it's a different feel overall, slightly different picks, different play styles, and just different everything. And this really shows how in-depth the game of Dota is. And the Eastern scene as well as the Western scene, they develop independently, and they've both grown to different yet effective playstyles. And again, this just really shows a tribute to how good of a game Dota is. And usually if you have like some really imbalanced strategies or heroes, everyone will just play the same way. But really just both of these teams growing up and developing in these 2 separate little worlds and having their own strengths and weaknesses, just, I mean, that just amazes me.
I'm going to let you finish. You got to join the broadcaster slot.
Oh.
I was actually just waiting to see if you would. He even looked at the monitor, guys.
like,
It says, "Wait, Merlini, join slot." He just like looked at it. He's like, "Nah, I'm gonna make you guys wait. I have a lot of important things to say," which he does. But with that being said, we've got all our broadcasters in the slot. We're gonna give it round 3. It's
Third
the
time's
charm,
charm.
man. We're good.
I hope your mouse shows up.
Yeah, I hope my mouse shows up. I hope. Well, we have some in-game action for you guys. Game 2 is coming up. Rattlesnake, again, they're still leading 1-0. Nothing's changed in that department despite the delays. First Departure has not magically found a way to take a game off them, and I still hold to my prediction. I think it's going to be a clean 2-0 sweep. I think First Departure are just not diverse enough to deal with Rattlesnake, and they're not aggressive enough to punish their greedy drafts.
I definitely agree with you there. Yeah. Well, what are your compendium predictions? I want to hear about this again.
This is man, I'm just having a ball because they were all laughing at me. I was stuttering, blubbering all through the pregame. We're going to jump inside the game right now, but now I'm cool, calm, and collected and smooth as butter. Not
You
messing
didn't
up
answer
my
my
words.
question, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to either. My compendium predictions, well, those are not supposed to be locked in how they are. Well, either way, if you don't see it, it didn't happen. Armageddon First Departure versus Rattlesnake. Round 2 fight. Here we go, Merlini. Draft underway. We'll see a Nyx Assassin ban this time. He was ignored entirely through the first stage, and, well, that's going to leave maybe a Lifestealer or a Lone Druid in the pool, and Rattlesnake, they've got the first pick.
Again, for those of you that haven't been paying attention to Eastern Dota, Wisp is not a first-tier pick or ban. We rarely see him picked or banned in the first 10 heroes. Usually he survives until the second phase. We did see him get banned out last game, though. So, again, different change of pace if you are used to the Western scene. So, regardless, Bat just very strong all around the world. What a ridiculous hero. And Bat, that sticky napalm, 70% turn rate, most OP thing about him. A lot of people think that it's a lot of the other stuff, but I really think it's that turn rate. So, I'm just glad to see him out. I hate playing against him. That hero is just ridiculous.
He's a pain and a half, and Lifestealer will be banned. I like this choice, but it does open up something like the Lone Druid if they want.
Ooh,
but it's
Clockwork.
Who am I kidding? It's Rattlesnake. They'll go for the Clockwork, the obvious and solid choice. First Departure, well, what are they going to do? If they want that Anti-Mage, I think they got to pick it up earlier.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that they banned out Clockwork before this game was made, and they just...
And got destroyed by him.
Yeah.
And then they don't ban it this time.
I know. I'm just curious as to see. I mean, maybe they have solutions for it, though. You can pair up. Maybe a Darkseer Fair is pretty well versatile, but, I mean... We've seen what other things that we've seen. We've seen Rubik. You can actually like drag him outside of his own cog, so he's blocked by 2 layers from him and his team. We've seen that. We've seen We've seen Skywrath Mage picked versus him a couple of times. If he tries to hookshot and cog, he's the only one inside there, and he can just drop a Mixed Flare and actually turn the fight around because he's isolated. So there are solutions to Clockwork, but again, we spoke about First Departure's inexperience as a team. They're somewhat poor drafting ability simply because they're too predictable and not flexible enough. So I hope they have a solution for this Clockwork. Regardless, we will see them take Lone Druid and Shadow Demon as their first 2 picks.
I mean, the one thing I like about this draft is they get the Lone Druid. This is a hero that can put a lot of pressure on the towers early. And you mentioned the Nagasara needed a lot of help in game 1. Lone Druid does not need a lot of help. Leave him alone. He can deal with the Clockwork 1v1. He can deal with the Queen of Pain 1v1. The only thing he struggles against is an aggressive tri-lane, which Rattlesnake, well, they can run them. Didn't see them in game 1. Let's see what they do.
So Queen of Pain, again, taken by Rattlesnake. They're, and
oh
a
my.
Kunkka, Admiral Kunkka. So number 9 in Hexagon drafting. I'm going to go back to it just because they like throwing some curveballs. And last game, their lanes were just so unpredictable. They had DS, they had Clockwork, they had Queen of Pain, and they had Juggernaut. I didn't expect Juggernaut to solo mid, but their flexibility and adaptability is just really recognizable.
It's hard to play against.
I know.
It's like if you play football, you see the same 11 players on the field, but they run a completely different play, a completely different formation. These guys can plug and play with the best of them, and let's see where they go for the second stage of the draft. For First Departure, I would like to see them get that solo mid now, because if you don't, you're going to see a puck ban immediately. And frankly, Palasson, all of his wins are coming on Magnus. I think he's played 80% of his games on that hero. When he doesn't get Magnus, it's always puck. So if they don't get puck now, it's going to be gone. Well, they'll go Darkseer. I kind of like that choice as well, but a strong solo. That's what they needed. That's what they get.
Yeah, I think they need a lot of self-sufficient heroes. Heroes that don't need a lot of babysitting, and Lone Druid and Darkseer are just great in lane. Regardless of whether they're versus a single or try, usually they'll be able to do something, get some sort of experience, and or farm. And this Kunkka pick, I think he'll have a pretty good time setting up for Torrents and Boats. If they ever use defensive disrupts, that'll just lead to a Torrent, Boat, and Tidebringer combo, as well as if Clockwork makes a very nice hook shot into a cog combo. So these bans are actually coming out pretty fast. We see Rubik. I think Rubik was completely ignored last game.
Yeah, what does he really do this game for First Departure? I guess there are some good spells to steal. You don't really want to steal cogs because you don't want to be in the middle of the fight if you're Rubik, but Queen of Pain ult, Scream, Boat, Torrent. There's some decent spells. I don't think First Departure would have gone for him. They already have Shadow Demon. I feel something like a Lina, a Leshrac is a much more likely choice, or that strong solo mid. So I like the puck ban a lot. Don't really think the Rubik is something First Departure had in mind, but Rattlesnake just don't want to play against it. They don't want to play against the hero who gives you that initiating stun versus the Queen of Pain, and maybe that's the reason why we see this ban. Or like you mentioned, the Clockwork, you can throw them out of the cogs.
So we see puck banned out, as you mentioned specifically, and the Juggernaut. So Juggernaut was picked up by Rattlesnake, and actually they will ban it out this game. And the Healing Ward plus the Lone Druid Spear Bear is absolutely insane. 5% of 2,700 is just massive amounts of heal every second, and you can just demolish towers as soon as you get that Healing Ward up and running. And I think it would fit very well into First Departure. Again, they need to switch things up a little bit, try and just put the pressure on Rattlesnake and force them into a defensive position. And they just seem to have their way. And if they can interrupt their flow, throw them off their rhythm, I think they will be very well on their way to maybe take a game off the Rattlesnake Gaming.
Rattlesnake was born tap dancing. These guys seem to have a natural rhythm no matter what. They pick a weird lineup, they make it work. They have weird lanes, they make it work. They have bad lanes, they still make it work. It's tough to play against that kind of an elusive and adaptable team. So let's see where they go. Gyrocopter will be the choice. It's a 4-core lineup already, and I won't be surprised one bit if we see another hero who needs levels and farm. First Departure, go Wisp. Now this I like a lot. It's a curveball. It was banned in Stage 2 last game by First Departure, but they're mixing it up, Merlini, and that's exactly what they need to do.
And we actually see them ban Bane, Earthshaker, and Silencer. So very unusual bans to say the least. First off, they don't have a Life Stealer, which Bane is usually picked up for. He is decent versus Lone Druid though, but again, he is very, very weak and just vulnerable to just dying to some AoE. And we see Earthshaker and Silencer. I haven't seen those in competitive recently at all.
It's been used here and there. We saw, I think it, well, oh God, was it LGD China, I want to say, picked up the Silencer. Oh, no, sorry, it's Invictus Gaming.
That's right.
They pick up the Silencer. They used the Global Silence just to find early kills. They ran an aggressive tri-lane with it. It really worked out for them, but I don't really think First Departure would have, or rather, Rattlesnake would have gone for it. I think they just prefer heroes that provide a lot of damage and stuns. I mean, even their supports, they went for Skywrath Mage that game, and they'll go Gyrocopter. Could easily be a support gyro. Support Clockwork is an option. I'm leaning towards Well, now it looks more. Well, actually, what do you make of this? Could be a support clock, could be a support gyro, but one of those heroes is not getting farmed.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, we'll probably see just by the heroes. I mean, Kabu will most likely be on Clockwork. I would probably say that he's offlane, but that's only the safest prediction I can make. Queen of Pain probably solo mid, and Roman Kunkka, I mean, that's the best I can guess. Regardless, actually, I think Silencer has been used a couple times to counter EO, also known as Wisp. I'll probably call him Wisp for very many days to come. But if you see the relocate coming and that red circle, you can just silence and just kill them in the team fights. And often you just run in there and you can't really cancel the tether or do anything. You just try and go in there and die. And oftentimes they can just swing a fight in their favor. But other than that, I don't really see Silencer being that strong of a pick.
So here's the question now. What are you going for? You have a Chaos Knight in the pool, you have a Tiny, you have a Sven, you have your pick of the litter for Wisp combo heroes. Who's your choice?
I would really go with Tiny right now, but it looks like they would go with a very conventional CK. I think they're lacking a little bit in terms of AoE right now. All they have is Vacuum Wall for AoE. Sure, Spirit Balls and Shadow Demon, Shadow Poison, but really, AoE is king most of the time, and that if you vacuum into a stun toss with Tiny beating on them, that is just massive amounts of damage, and until they get BKBs, they really will not be able to deal with it. But looks like they will go for the conventional Chaos Knight Wisp as their last.
And it's going to be scripted playing the Chaos Knight. Actually is one of his signature heroes. I think we even had it on the player cards, which I mentioned because he's normally in that support role, but this man of many names and many faces will be playing a carry position this game. That's going to mix things up a bit for First Departure. So to run through their lineup properly from the top, scripted on the Chaos Knight. Miracle playing the Wisp. He is, it appears, the EO player. Haven't seen them run it before, but that would explain the rotation in terms of the carry player. Polasson going to be taking the Lone Druid mid, and Luppy on the Shadow Demon. Last but not least, it'll be Hana taking that off-lane Dark Seer. So, Merlini, we're going to see a solo mid Lone Druid, or maybe even a dual lane.
Yeah, and it looks like a solo mid Kunkka on the side of Rattlesnake, but I will introduce the rest of the lineup. We see, again, Lua on the Kunkka. We see Icy on the solo safe lane, Queen of Pain, pretty much the same role he was in last game. And we see Kabu on, looks like the support Clockwork with already Rocket Flare first. So I think they're looking to play pretty aggressively here, or either try and snipe the creep camps. We see Lon M on the Gyrocopter and Sag Heart M on the Keeper of the Light.
Well, the creeps are about to spawn. The rune is about to appear. Game 2 is about to get underway. Rattlesnake leading this best of 3, 1-0. It's going to be a doozy. I really hope First Departure can give them a better run for their money, because Game 1 was painful to watch. Just as a fan of Dota, let's hope Game 2 isn't the same situation. With that being said, Lubby, he's going to journey up top, and so when the dust settles, it looks like it will be an offlane Darkseer, 1v1 against the Queen of Pain. In the middle lane, a Lone Druid, 1v1 against a Kunkka, and then top lane, try on try. Keeper of the Light, Gyrocopter, and Clockwork matching arms against Chaos Knight, Wisp, and Shadow Demon. And as much as I like the Wisp pick, Merlini, I'm a little concerned about this tri-lane. How is First Departure going to win it? I feel like Rattlesnake have too much damage, too much AoE, and too much range. It's going to be very tough.
Yeah, especially with, we see this first Illuminate come out. Wow, all of them are at half HP just from Illuminate and Rocket Flare combo. That is just absurd.
I think I jinxed them. I'm just going to stop talking right now. I mean, they have range, they have damage, but they really brought it in. So if they do go on to lose the tri-lane, which feels fairly likely right now, then it comes down to the solos, and just break those matchups down quickly for me before the action picks up top.
So I think that Lua will have a decent time in middle, especially with that Spirit Bear taking a lot of harass as it was scouting out the triple lane. In the top lane, we see a lot of rocket barrage damage, and Kunkka will be able to splash the Lone Druid as well as the Spirit Bear with the Tidebringer. So and Tidebringer will not go off if you deny. I think that Kunkka has a slight edge in middle, but as soon as Lone Druid gets level 5, it could go either way. In the bottom lane, I've seen this matchup go either way. If Queen of Pain gets a level 2 Shadow Strike, she can often harass the Darkseer out of the lane if she plays aggressively, but I think both heroes will be able to get a lot of levels and farm. I don't really expect any first blood in these two solo lanes unless supports rotate in the first maybe 6-7 minutes or so.
Let me ask you, is there a reason why Honda's not creep skipping right now? Because you know they're aggressive tri-laning. You saw it already. They don't have the best ganking supports. I feel like Hana could really be punishing this Queen of Pain with creep skipping and even pulling the wave, maybe to do some extra farming.
I mean, I think he could. He tried to, but he's a little bit too late. I think that Icy was playing a little aggressively on him, and he was actually forced back to around this area over here, maybe 1200 range away from his T1, and that is just not in the position you want to be in if you want to be creep skipping. He really needs level 3 to be able to do it, although he's level 3 right now. He's lagging a little bit in the region area, although he does have some items coming. Check. Oh, it looks like he'll be opting for the offlane Bottle Crow as opposed to the normal Tranquil Soul Ring or Soul Ring Arcane Boots.
And some good news for First Departure. They haven't given up First Blood yet, and Poisson is farming very well mid. 9 and 7. Granted, Lua is 2. He'll throw out a Torrent. Here comes a Cleave. Wow, he's really driving this Lone Druid back, and I feel Poisson desperately needs to hit level 6 just so the Cleave doesn't hurt him as much with that additional HP, but he's taking a lot of harassment. It's surprisingly hard to lane against the Kunkka when you don't have something, I don't know, like a Queen of Pain Shadow Strike to really zone him out at the early levels.
Yeah, and this Tidebringer is just going to do more and more damage. I mean, you have a Stout Shield on the bear, but that will not block anything from the Tidebringer damage if he hits a creep. No Orb of Venom up on the Lone Druid, too. Most likely he's going to have to spend money on regen just because he's taking constant torrent damage as well as Tidebringer.
He's just putting on a show mid. He's just like tossing torrents out casually. No look 3-pointers. They're all just sinking directly in. Nothing but net so far. And, well, for Rattlesnake on this top tri lane, taking another look at it, they're pulling the creeps, getting a lot of levels, actually. 3 on Kabu, 3 on Gyro, being played, by, of course, by Lamb, and then last but not least, 3 on Sag. So considering it's an aggressive tri lane, they're getting a ton. And you look at First Departure, level 2 on all of the heroes. They aren't able to pull. It's actually blocked off right now. They're under a lot of pressure from Keeper of the Light. Rattlesnake with all this AoE, they can steal the pulls if they do happen.
Smoke rotation from Lubby and Miracle.
I like this because it just seems like they're not getting anything done top, and I don't think they will.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good that they haven't died at this point, but again, both their solo lanes are not going as well as they expected. Kunkka's actually dominating mid pretty hard, just harassing Paulson constantly, and it looks like Luo might give up First Blood here.
Uh-oh, this is bad. Where's that entangle when you need it? No entangle, but they'll start with the disruption. Look for the surround or the tether stun. There's no teleports yet. Lua dropping low. They need a root. They get a root, and First Departure are going to strike first. They pick up a much-needed First Blood. Poloson down to 46 HP. If the bear dies, he'll die. The bear does die, and he goes down. Oh, my goodness. That is a very sad Lone Druid. But good news is they get the First Blood. Bad news is they give up a kill, and it takes a smoke and 2 heroes leaving the top lane. So I would almost say advantage Rattlesnake in spite of that, but it's pretty even.
Yeah, pretty even indeed. And it looks like Darkseer is finally creep skipping on bottom and finally able to pull ahead a Queen of Pain. Looks like he might be playing super aggressively right here. Queen of Pain out of regen right now, opting to go for early Magic Wand instead.
Top lane, just harassment unscripted, but I mean, as much long-range harassment and AoE as they have, Rattlesnake don't really have the best killing tri-lane unless they can somehow cog you, but with no level 6 on Kabu and with no initiating stun, it's hard to get the cogs off. So it frees up First Departure to do things like gank mid, and they actually came back mid, didn't find much. Now they rotate top, and, well, now they're back to the tri-lane where things just aren't going well for them.
And we often don't see Wisp picked in the Eastern scene just because they tend to team fight a lot, and Wisp does not excel in 5-on-5 fights, and we see the carry players of most Eastern teams just play very, very safely, often not getting picked off. Queen of Pain can do it just because she has Blink, but I don't think Kunkka will be able to farm out that far, and it's really important that he does not get picked off by this Wisp when he's level 6, although that will be probably a long time coming, especially with the way this triple lane is going right now.
I'm just super impressed by Lua's play in this middle lane, and the Kunkka seems like a much stronger pick against Lone Druid than I thought he would be. With the early stout shield, the bear hasn't really been scratching him, and the cleave is just ruining Peloso, who's not sitting inside of his ultimate form. I imagine may look to do it soon, but he's just getting harassed really hard and also losing in terms of CS. This is the one matchup where I thought the Lone Druid would do a bit better, but Lua's just playing it really well, and that's after giving up a First Blood.
Yeah, I mean, he is just hitting monstrous torrents, and without an Orb of Venom harass, you can't really put out that much pressure. Sure, he's bottle crowing, but he's a melee hero. You should be able to harass him down, especially if you get a lucky root. That'll just put him in critical HP range and should free up the lane for you to farm a lot. So it looks like Hana's taking a lot of damage on bottom lane.
Are they going to be able to bring him down? He walks out of the torrent, then back into it. He eats a cleave. Now Icy on the hunt. Vacuum pulls Lua onto the high ground. Now Hana on the run. Icy, blink available. He'll jump now. He needs this last hit, but bottling up as he retreats. Hana might survive just yet. Peloson looking for a root. He won't get it. He keeps Hana alive, and that's a lot of wasted time for Rattlesnake and their 2 solo heroes. Lua trapped on the hill. Well, there's a TP. Icy will blink up, give him the TP, and then run away.
He doesn't have mana, though.
That's teamwork, folks. But yeah, like you said, no mana, so what does it matter?
Pull him some
He was
clarities.
trying to... But Merlini, come on, it was clever. I mean,
yeah.
He didn't do the math. It was still clever.
Nice play by Darkseer. I fully expect him to die, especially running back into that torrent. So Nice play by him.
Oh, and they tethered up Miracle is to Hana right now. This is not your ideal tether ganking combo. Miracle just trying to help him heal a bit faster in the fountain, and now we'll head out towards the lane. Lobby TP's in mid. Constant rotation from these supports. Well, bottom lane. Icy taking some harassment. We'll be okay. I do feel like maybe if they had something instead of a Wisp, say Alina right now, they could be finding a lot more kills with these two roaming around. But, well, while they do have the Wisp to give them that really powerful mid game, she's not able to do much as a roamer. It's just not a strong laning hero.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I mean, they were able to pick up the first one, but again, he's still finding like a really hard time getting levels and experience. Just sitting on brown boots and magic stick right now. They get their first word up for the nighttime, but again, still a little bit lacking in terms of this early game action. But this is pretty much what you expect from a Wisp. Most teams do choose aggressive triple lane versus Wisp just because he's so weak in lane. Before it used to be Undying, but Keeper Light serves just as well. And Gyrocopter farm looks like he's actually pretty poor too. I'm trying to see who most of the farm is going to. The top lane looks like it's split pretty evenly between Clockwork and Gyrocopter in terms of Rattlesnake as a Radiant.
Yeah, I like that. Kabu needs he's their big initiator. You look at this team, who else is going to start the fights? They don't even have a single reliable stun. Sure, you've got well, maybe it is a reliable stun with Torrent for Luau, the way he's playing, but I mean, really, it's not. Even if he plays that well sometimes. Can't count on it every time. Scripted, it's a rocket. Look at how low he drops the long range harass. I mean, I like what Armageddon's first departure is doing. They're not it's not really a tri-lane versus tri-lane because they're not in the lane. Aside from Scripted, they're pulling the small camp. They're trying to stack and farm the neutrals. They're basically so far away that Rattlesnake can't fight them. The problem is now the tier 1's going to start dropping, and I mean, this is all they can do. They have to trade. They can't be in the lane anymore. But it might be too costly later on because Wisp's level 6 is a bit delayed. Well, I say that. Miracle's farming a big stack. If he kills this, it might not be that delayed.
Yeah, I mean, I think First Departure, regardless, is doing much, much better early game than they were last game. Especially with his Wisp pick, usually expect teams to fall behind in this pre-10-minute stage, but looks like 1-1, and they're doing decently in terms of XP and farm. Looks like both of them going in favor of Dire. Gold graph 200 in favor of First Departure, and XP earned around actually 1,500, so they're actually getting a lot more experience than I expected.
Yeah, Miracle almost level 5 already. Lubby level 5 himself, and you look at Chaos Knight, Scripted's hit 6, and
wow.
The good news for their team, these heroes don't need that many items to be high impact, especially not if Hana gets an early mech. I think that's the one item they desperately need. Having a Wisp, you can tether, of course, the Chaos Knight. He gets the double heal, and then some. That's going to be huge. Now Scripted gets caught, though. Lane Ward was behind the tower, spotted him out, caught inside the cogs. And this, well, it won't be our first blood, but it will be our first death for the Chaos Knight. Down Scripted goes. An easy kill. Tower Ward, or Ward behind the tower secures that one. And the one concern is, sure, First Departure got as much as they possibly could out of a bad situation, but now that bad situation gets worse with that death. Going to be harder to find safe space to farm in this top lane.
Yeah, and I mean, they've been doing a really efficient job of stacking camps. This smallest camp is stacked, this medium camp is stacked, and we just saw them take out a double stack in the large camp. So even though the supportings have not been doing a good job of protecting CK, they're doing a really good job of finding experience in farm, whereas Rattlesnake's supports are actually not really that farm right now.
They're going to look to farm some neutrals. Kabu level 6, Lamb as well. Lamb's actually gone for Mana Boots on a Gyrocopter. This, for me, is definitely a first. I mean, even when I've seen support Gyro, I've never seen this, especially not with the Keeper of the Light tri-lane. Yeah. That's unusual, but, I mean, it kind of tells the tale of how they want to roll this, which is just constant spam and aggression and pressure on the lane. Miracle smoked up bottom lane with Lubby. They've rotated here for this one. They have a TP, no relocate yet, but they'll get it if they find a kill here. Can they find a kill on Icy? That's the real question. If he leaves this tower, maybe, but he's sticking around for now. And well, in the meantime, Rattlesnake, they're going to smoke, and they're going to head towards mid. Is there a Dire Ward to spot this rotation? There's not. And the lane's pushed in, so it's not that obvious of a smoke. It looks bad right now for Peloson. He's at half HP. If he gets caught, he'll almost certainly go down. Oh, this is bad. Action bottom at the same time. Icy caught out. Will they bring him down? Luau's there. He's going to drop 2 with a Torrent. He drops them low mid lane. The action continues. We'll take a quick look at that as Peloson is caught under the tower. Brought down by a Gyrocopter ult. That's 2 that hit the decks, and, well, it's a 3rd to follow. Luau, time and time again, just slamming home disgusting